that's lost and found. I was desperate for someone to pull me out. Bound in chains I could.
Josie Bello is a recording artist that has 3 albums now, and we're going to talk a little bit about where she's from and how she got to where she is right now. So, Josie, I'm going to throw it over to you. Tell me about your growing up. I know you grew up in Queens, and
Yeah.
I partially grew up in Queens from 10 years old on. The rest was in Brooklyn. But tell me about your experiences and what got you into folk music or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what it is anymore.
Yeah. It's the real music. It's not the
Yeah.
music they play on the rest of the radio stations.
Right.
I grew up in Western Queens in an area called Woodside, and it was a very immigrant area, new immigrants from Ireland, so it was very Irish.
Mm.
And we could see the World Trade Center from my block. You know, you could see the outline of the city. I was right by Manhattan, so a lot of my growing up was in Manhattan, you know. We saw all the concerts on the lawn, the Great Lawn in Central Park growing up, saw all the big acts, and it was great. I mean, it was just a good place to grow up and a good time to grow up. So,
And did you, when you say you were in Manhattan a lot, were your friends from Queens or from Manhattan? Where
Well,
did you have friends? You
it
went to
was-
school in Queens, right?
I went to school in Jamaica, but it was very easy to hop the train and get into Manhattan
Okay.
and get to avail yourself of all the great cultural stuff that went on there. It was a lot of concerts, and it was just a good place to be, you know. And it broadened our horizons, and we felt very enriched by our surroundings, I think, and we just had I had a good growing up. I don't know, today I see a lot of stuff where kids sort of play video games or are constantly buried in their phones, and we were more about interacting with each other, I think. A lot of garage bands, but the girls weren't really allowed to play. You know, we just got to sit
Yeah,
and
of
listen
course.
in the basements or in the garages, and you know, certainly there were no accordion players, you know, like I am now. So
Yeah, well, you know, you started with accordion, I think, right?
I had to. I was railroaded into it by my family because I was a girl, and the boys could take guitar lessons, but
That's
the girls
amazing.
played accordion, and I was actually the only girl. And so I played accordion, and they taught me Italian songs. They got me a big book of Italian songs, and I had to work my way through that with the accordion teacher. And I figured I would just always be a music nerd, but now I think I actually get work as an accordion player.
Get away. So
No,
you really,
I really
I mean,
do.
you still play the accordion, and do you play it in concerts at all, or you just stick to guitar?
Well, it's hard to play accordion for me anyway, and sing.
Okay.
So I do play guitar and I play piano when we play out, but I belong to a band where I only play accordion. It's sort of like a roots music band. It's called the Lucky Ones, and I enjoy playing that. And I also get some work from folk artists to put accordion tracks on some of their songs.
That's so great.
Yeah, I love doing that. That is, you know, if you listen closely even to Bruce Springsteen, there's always a little accordion somewhere in a lot of his music because all of his keyboard players were very well versed in all the keyboard instruments, and a lot of them played guitar,
Yeah,
played accordion.
I'm often amazed at, looking at liner notes and seeing that there's an accordion in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's great that you learn that. Now your family aren't immigrants, are they?
Half and half.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just because what you're saying sounds more like um, the daughter of a family of immigrants who have traditional
Hmm.
ways, set
Hmm.
ways, that girls play accordion, boys play guitar, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Uh, you kind of went through. Now, your dad and mom are from where?
My mother was an immigrant. My father was from Queens.
Okay.
And so there was a lot of Italian spoken among the relatives growing up. And it
Mhm.
was very traditional in terms of being like a European family.
Yeah, yeah.
Because even when college came around, when it came time to go to college, I thought I would go away. And my parents said, no, you're a girl. You don't go away. And then 2 years later, my younger brother, they're traipsing him all over the country looking at colleges. I'm like, hey, what's up with that?
Yeah.
Well, he's a boy. It's just that kind of thing.
Yeah, right,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, oh God, thank goodness we've passed that kind of stuff now. I think. I don't know. The world is such a crazy place now. Yeah, I don't know if this is so crazy. Everything changes
Mhm.
so quickly. I don't know if you notice now this live captioning thing. If you're watching YouTube video, I know on my system,
Mhm.
and now it's captioning me as I'm talking. It's it's actually captioning my voice, and so sometimes it's actually accurate. So we're headed in that direction, the artificial intelligence
Mhm.
direction, where goodness knows years from now, this whole place may be totally changed.
Yeah,
It
we
could be
don't,
totally
yeah. You
it could be
can't
totally
forsay
changed
that.
next year.
Yeah.
If
Well,
certain things happen politically, this whole world may change very quickly and rapidly.
the
That's all
whole
I
world
can.
may blow up.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just would like to say though that I don't really see my upbringing as a negative. I used to. I used to resent
Yeah,
it, but honestly, I think that it helped make me who I am, and I
mhm.
like who I am. So I'm good with
Good.
it. I.
Yeah, that's great. That is good. I feel the same way. That here I am. My upbringing got me to where I am right now, so it must have been good.
Got nothing to say, I run out of words. I got no more nouns, no more verbs, no more adjectives. I got no more action expletives. Got no way to justify, no way to testify. Got nowhere to run, I run out of places, get no relief in seeing new faces. No sunny day or walk on a beach is gonna put the past within my reach. I can't go home 'cause it ain't home no more, and it don't exist the way it did before. Not the same people, not their same ages. No gain to be made from the wishing and a waiting. This time move steady, I hope and pray we'll all be together again someday. put it to song. No time left to right any wrongs. The universe is pushing me along. I can't go home 'cause it ain't home no more, and it don't exist the way it did before. Not the same people, not the same places. No gain to be made from a wishing and a waiting. This time move steady. I hope and pray we'll all be together again someday. No thought-filled walk along a shoreline can change what remains or reverse the time. Can't go home 'cause it ain't home no more, and it don't exist the way it did before. Not the same people, not the same places. No gain to be made from a wishing and a waiting. This time move steady. I hope and pray we'll all be together again. Can't go home 'cause it ain't home no more, and it don't exist the way it did before. Not the same people, not the same places. No gain to be made from a wishing and a waiting. This time move steady. I hope and pray we'll all be together again. I pray we'll all be together again. Dear Lord, we should all be together again someday. Says you can't go home. We're all going home when the Maker calls us home. We all going home. We're gonna be restored. We're all going home. Everybody's going home.
So tell me about the process that you went through when you first recorded. This will help other musicians just to start. When did you get serious about your music, and when did you record your first album, and what was that experience like?
Okay, so about 7 or 8 years ago, Frank was revisiting his love of the guitar, and he was playing guitar in the house, and he was thinking about maybe playing out, and I just started singing along with him. And he said, "Oh, Josie, you can sing." And I'm like, "I can?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I started taking guitar lessons myself with Mike Nugent, who's a local musician who I happened to come upon when I just went into a local music store. And I said, "Yeah, I want to take guitar lessons." And they assigned me to Mike. And Mike turned out to be somebody who records and produces people in his home studio. And once I started to learn to play chords on the guitar, songs started coming out. I sort of had a knack for it. Not playing guitar, but making up songs. And that's when I started about 8 years ago. And I Mike said, I started showing him my songs, and he said, I think I can record some of these and make something of them with you. So little by little, we started to go through my songs, and I was on the spot just kind of writing them, and he was helping me shape them, and he taught me a lot about songwriting. As a matter of fact, he's taught me almost everything I know about, playing with a band and stuff. And that's where the first album, Can't Go Home, came from, out of my guitar lessons. And I kind of started writing more than I started studying, kept up with my guitar skills. So I really just started writing from there about 8 years ago. And I really enjoy it. And we have a very healthy songwriting community here in Huntington. We have so many activities and so many open mics that have been shaped around songwriters. So there's a very supportive group.
Monday night at the coffee shop, they let us play till closing time. Scoot us out so they can mop and get up early to fill commuter cups. Some men have a bowling night or go to gun club meetings 'cause they have the right. Others go down to the bar to reminisce all night. But we are the undiscovered guitar boys. We like to play expensive toys. For our music we sacrifice. Sometimes we pay a price. Some of us are lost. Some of us have been found. New players come and go, but we have stuck around. We follow our own Jesus and face the non-believers. It's another Monday night at the Lost and Found coffee shop open mic. We sing our songs with conviction, a personal benediction. We lavish praise on every other while we patiently wait to sing another. For that moment you are at the mic, guitar in hand, getting it right. You are the center of the universe, vindicated for time stolen to rehearse. Some of us are lost. Some of us have been found. New players come and go, but we have stuck around. We follow our own Jesus and face the non-believers. It's another Monday night at the Lost and Found coffee shop open mic. 21st century troubadours playing songs from the century before. When the night is done, we put the coffee shop open mic. It's another Monday night at the Lost and Found coffee shop open mic.
Let me ask you this: what did you do before you started playing music? Did you have a normal job, like many
Yes,
people have?
yes. I still have a normal job. I still
Okay,
work, but I work less than I did before
okay. And
because
what was
the
that?
music does take a lot of time up. Luckily, I've been able to fill in some income with that. But
Hmm.
I am a social worker.
Oh,
I
okay,
have an
great.
yes, I have an MSW,
I
and
didn't
I
know
did a
that.
lot of science writing and a lot of manuscripts that I prepared for research studies and things like that. So I always did that, and that was a way to make money on the side as I raised my son as a single mom. And Frank and I, it's a second marriage.
Okay.
So, and I always had a private practice. I have a private practice in psychotherapy, and I worked in a hospital as an administrator as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go. And it's certainly not unusual for people to have two careers going on at the same time, because let's face it, nobody makes money in the folk music business. It's mostly a labor of love,
Yeah.
and if you can get your music out there and people enjoy it, you have an audience that enjoys it, that's all that it takes. And so many artists are like that. Yeah, I think only very few make a living, a total living,
Mm-hmm.
from the kind of music that we love. Uh, yeah, you mentioned Bruce Springsteen and Emmylou Harris. Yeah,
Oh,
all of those people.
yeah.
They're unusual people, and they're just. And also, sometimes it takes just a lucky break for someone to become a success. Now, are there any things you want me to point out that we haven't spoken about? I always forget to bring up things.
Well, I mean, I passion for songwriting. I
Say that
consider
again.
myself more of a songwriter than a performer,
Okay.
and that's my identity. And I love to encapsulate ideas and stories and thoughts into a 3 or 4 minute song. I love the process of songwriting. I love editing down a lot of material, a lot of stuff that I want to say about something, and try to find the real meat of the message.
Mm.
And I also love creating the melodies. So I'm having a great time. I don't know what took me so long to discover this part of myself. I wish I had discovered it a really long time ago.
Well, it happens to everybody. People discover things about themselves all the time, and it's great that you did. And does the fact that you are also a social worker, does that influence your songwriting? I can't see how it wouldn't. Some
Well,
of the
some people have a misconception about that. They think that maybe as a social worker, I start writing other people's stories. But what actually happens is that other people's stories remind me of things that might have happened to me. And then that's what I write about. I do write from a very personal perspective.
Okay, so that's great to know when people are listening to your music.
Fantastic.
Take care.
Thank you again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Nothing ever stays the same. Forever's never always. Living these numbered days, making the same mistakes. I keep chasing a feeling impossible to sustain. I am playing a never-ending game. Too many changes for me to comprehend. Too many miles put on a road that used to stretch ahead. Too many dreams have been laid to rest. I wasn't always right, but I always did my best. Missing something I was never meant to keep. Up all night, losing more than sleep. Too many beginnings, hopeful at first. Too many endings that made ending worse. Too many changes for me to comprehend. Too many miles put on a road that used to